Well, my buyer could just simply say, how about you just let me take over those payments? I go, okay, no problem. Here you go. That's subject to taking over somebody else's payments on whatever it is. Could be a phone, could be a car, could be a house, could be a business. We just bought a CPA firm on seller finance and subject to. We took over their SBA loan. It is literally just taking over the existing debt that's on whatever that thing is. It's very simple.
Okay. I, as the seller of the phone, am concerned that you're not going to make my payments for me, and now my credit is going to get trashed. Do you take over my loan, or do you just make payments for me?
Okay, if I took over your loan, that would be called an assumption. I've never done an assumption, nor will I ever do an assumption. It's a waste of everybody's time.
Okay.
A lot of people teach, we can do assumptions. It's a waste of everybody's time. So when somebody says to me, well, I'm worried about you not making the payments. Okay, well, first and foremost, you are probably not the demographic of seller that I go after. I'm going after sellers that are expired listings, foreclosures, et cetera, sellers that are in pain, that actually the last thing on their mind is that payment. They're just like, get this off my plate, okay? So remember, I'm not just going to my next door neighbor and saying, can I take over your payments? I'm going to sellers that have pain that is not just noticeable. It is already blasted on public record that these people are in a painful situation. Perfect. Doesn't mean the question's not valid. It just means you need to understand the mindset of the people we're talking to. So when a seller doesn't ask that, by the way, because we will get sellers that don't even ask, like, what happens if the payment doesn't get made? We always tell them, hey, there's 5 questions you really should ask when you sell to us on subject to. One of them is, what happens if the payment isn't made? Well, a couple of things, okay? I don't take the money out of my bank account and then go over to your bank and make the payment. That's not how it's physically, mechanically done. The way it's mechanically done is I hire a third-party servicing company, much like Mr. Cooper or Westar Loan Servicing. What they do is I pay them $17 a month. They pull the money out of my bank account and they go over and they pay your payment to your mortgage directly. They pay the HOA payment. They make sure taxes and insurance are paid, any other payments that need to be made. And then they send you an email every month, 5 days before the payment is supposed to be made, saying, hey, this has been paid on time. In the event that I default, in the event that I get abducted by aliens and I'm no longer on this planet, the way that we structure that arrangement is that you take over the property before I ever go into foreclosure through a deed in lieu, and you take the property back. You take any deposit I gave you, any payments I made along the way, any renovations I made along the way, anything that you've benefited from, you get to keep all of it, and you end up taking the property back without having to go through a foreclosure process. So it all depends on how you structure the arrangement. Everything goes through title or a closing attorney, depending on the state you're in, and the seller is protected in multiple different ways.